Good morning. This is Karen, and welcome to my channel, Kinetic Karma. I'm happy to be here today. I'm glad you guys showed up. I have been experiencing, and the reason I tell personal stories is because I think whatever it is I'm going through, you guys may be experiencing as well on some level. You never know. I think we are all connected. I think separation is an illusion. And therefore, what's important is important. So I share. Okay, I'm going to say a prayer to connect with you guys and open the circle, put some protection above us so that as I'm doing this reading, no negative energies come through. One moment. Okay. I'm going to use the Carolyn Mist deck. I'm doing Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine readings. I do both at the same time in the reading, side by side. The Divine Feminine is on the left-hand side, my left, and the Divine Masculine is on the right. And you'll find a lot of spiritual teachings that the feminine is the left, the receptive side, and the right is the masculine, which is the externalized side. Okay, so Spirit, please give me information about the Divine Feminine, what it is we need to know about her today, what archetype card is playing out for her. And we have Victim. Spirit, can I please have a card for the Divine Masculine, one that represents the archetype that we're dealing with as it relates to the Divine Masculine. This one comes out. Don Juan. Wow, we got a thing going on here. So, you know, Don Juan, the light attribute is spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. And the shadow attribute is using the power of romantic attraction for private gain. And the Divine Feminine, the Victim light attribute is prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. And the shadow is playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. Playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. So the shadow side of the victim is that you're not really a victim, you're the culprit, but you're playing like you are so that you could get attention and you could be the poor me, you know, but you're really like a giant that is very powerful on the inside, but that's not what gets you what you want, which is the attention and pity of others. It's kind of like an energy suck, like a parasitic position, the shadow attribute, where you're just playing the victim so that you can siphon other people's energy and attention for no freaking good reason. And the light attribute is that something can happen to you. You can be in a situation where you may feel like you're a victim, but you don't allow yourself to perceive yourself as a victim, because when you stand in the victim position, you have no power. So the light attribute of victim is that, yeah, it may look like I'm a victim, but I'm not, because I create everything in my life. Everything. You or whoever or whatever circumstance that is making it appear that I'm a victim is a lie. Because truth be told, it was all me. I did it, because nothing, 100% nothing comes into my life without my permission, without my being at a vibratory rate that attracts it. So I'm not a victim. And what's beautiful about that is that if you know that, and if you believe that, and if you practice that, then you can change your life. You can continuously change your life. You don't like what you created? Oh, okay, I created it, so let me wipe that out and go and restart all over and do something else because I did it. So, but if there's an issue or person or situation in your life that is plaguing you, is hovering over you, is, creating lack and disease and dysfunction in your life, if there's something in your life doing that, if you take responsibility, even though you don't understand, and a lot of times we don't understand how we created these things, and we would never choose to create these things consciously, but subconsciously we're choosing this because we don't know what it is that we're doing. So if you understand that most things are created from the subconscious, and that no matter how horrific it is showing up in your life, that you accept responsibility on some level, that you were here to experience this situation as a teaching, as a lesson, so that you could heal whatever it was that vibrated at that level that created you in this situation. Now, I hope I'm not losing you guys, but basically is, like attracts like. So if you have an abuser in your life, you have to look at your life from beginning, from the day you were born, at your mother's mother. Were they abused? Do you have the energy of abuse vibrating on a subconscious level that would attract abuse in your life now? Is that what's going on? And if it is, can you take responsibility for that vibration? Not that you want to cause harm upon yourself, but that there is a vibration in you that is not in harmony with what it is you want to manifest. Can you take accountability and responsibility for that, Divine Feminine? And if you can, then once you take 100% responsibility for creating it, then you can take 100% responsibility for changing it. You can't change it until you take responsibility for it. You can't change it until you acknowledge it within you, no matter how ugly, no matter how horrific. You have to they're showing me how men go hunting and they're in the forest with the dogs, and the dogs get a sniff of a scent of a squirrel and they get on it, and the dog is just going to find that squirrel. And the men are following. That's how you have to be about eking out the vibrations, the lower vibrations that create it, or the experiences, or the underlying beliefs, or all of the above that created this unwanted situation in your life. And once you hunt it down, and you kill it, you cut its throat, you shoot it, you skin it, and you prepare it for your table, then and I don't ask me why I'm getting these visualizations in this kind of a line, but this is what I'm getting. Okay, so if you're offended, I suggest you click off. So once you do that, you put it as a dish prepared upon your table, okay? And that dish is in recognition and honoring of you doing the work that you needed to do to transform that into something that was sucking the life out of you, into something that was providing nourishment for you. That's wild. They told me that. That's wild. But hey, we go with what we go with. Okay. So that was a lot for Divine Feminine. And for Don Juan, the spotlight, your positive seductive qualities, and the shadow sign is using your power of romantic attraction for private agendas. So I'm not identifying with the masculine divine. I don't identify as a Divine Feminine. It's hard, and I know we have both in us, but I'm gonna do my best to say that when I see this card, when I see the shadow attribute, what it's telling me is that there is some fear in the shadow attribute within the divine masculine. And the reason that the divine masculine needs to have a private agenda is because he's weak and he fears being wounded fatally. He fears being wounded mortally. So he hides what he's up to. He hides in order to protect himself. It's a very root chakra, very survival-based fear that's generating the shadow side of the Don Juan. And with the root base, which is, you know, the sexuality and the reproductive and the actual creating of life, that area, that's what he uses as a cover-up to make the divine feminine or whoever he's with, you know, think that they matter, when really what matters to the divine masculine when he's vibing out of the shadow attribute is that he not get hurt, is that he not face his wounds, is that he not admit the truth to himself about who he really is at his core. Okay? So they have issues. So maybe he was abused sexually when he was a child by a man, and in order to prove that he is a man, he has a lot of, you know, promiscuous, multiple affairs. And when you meet him, you think he's altruistic, you think he's telling the truth and he's, you know, above board, but really what he's trying to do is prove to himself something that he could never prove because it wasn't true to begin with. Whatever that was that he made up about that abuse, it wasn't true, it was a lie. And he's been running from it all the time. And that's just one scenario. It could be any scenario where you have something at your core, divine masculine, that you refuse to heal, you refuse to deal with, you refuse to take on. You don't have the strength or the courage to dominate, to rule over. And it'll be that way until you do. And the light attribute spotlights your positive seductive qualities. Well, that's really nice that you have positive seductive qualities. I mean, how things get created in this world is through the attraction to what is beautiful in life, you know. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, they're saying. You know, keep your suave, keep your, you know, suave, keep it on. But at the same time, be honest, you know, do the work with yourself so that when you come into relationship with people, you can be upfront. And even if that being upfront is, hey, I'm a hoe. I'm a hoe, I'm a player, and I'm going to play. And, you know, it's your choice if you want to play with me or not. At least you're being honest. You're not lying. And then it's upon the person to accept or not. That's not a judgment. That's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's, you know, the thing is that you could actually acknowledge who and what it is you are and how you're being. Now, being a hoe may have some whole nother vibratory, you know, lower vibratory issues going on there, but at least you acknowledge it. You're not, you know, keeping it behind your back, you know, like a coward. So that is what I have for the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I am going to pull out of a new deck that I got to close out this reading. It's a Mudra deck. Mudras for the mind and body. So please give me a card or two for the divine feminine from this deck in terms of mudras that she could do. Oh, we have one. Oh, we have two. I thought two. And for the divine masculine, would you please give me 1 or 2 cards? Okay, 1 flew out. Two more. One is in the, here we go. Okay, so for the Divine Feminine, we have Justice. I am not to judge. I am not to judge. And it says, this mudra fortifies the solar plexus, clears the head, centers, and stabilizes. Stand up for your rights, but without passing judgment on others. You can leave the judgment to a higher court. You may criticize what another does, but it is not up to you to judge the doer. For remember, only injured people injure. Only oppressed people want to oppress others. Only weak ones want to weaken other people. And only frustrated want to frustrate others. Try to hand over the injustice with what others do to you, to a universal authority. When you feel persecuted, surrender the pain which is inflicted upon you. There is consolation. Your love heals my hurt. Your strength strengthens me. Your goodness leads me to new endeavor. And the mudra is the placement of your hands like so. And the mantra is, I am not to judge. Let it go. I am not to judge. I am not to judge. Okay, and the last mudra for the Divine Feminine is opportunity. Take your chance. And it looks like this, and it says, dedicated to the goddess of inner truth, clarity, and unity. This mudra synchronizes the two halves of the brain, activates one's memory, improves one's ability to absorb and reproduce knowledge in exam situations, for instance, and is good for the lungs as well. I have to read it. I can't see it with the light. When it's held up like this, I have to hold it down, so forgive me. Every circumstance, including the most unpleasant ones, contain within it an opening, a chance. The trick is to find it and use it. Picture yourself entering the chakra of your third eye in your forehead. It feels as if you are sitting in a pink-colored haven. You pose questions related to particular opportunities of your life or especially significant concerns. Become very still and listen carefully. I wish to take my chances as they come, use them, enjoy them, and transform them. Which is what we were talking about with the Divine Feminine in terms of transforming the shadow side of the victim to the light side. You know, taking the chances. I wish to take my chances as they come, use them, enjoy them, and transform them. I'm going to say it one more time. I wish to take my chances as they come, use them, enjoy them, and transform them. So no matter what comes, you're going to be able to deal with it in a positive, empowered way, because you know you can absorb what comes at you, you know, not react to it, but respond to it through your ability to access certain tools and thoughts, certain practices, certain, to identify what is going on in a situation, because you continuously strive to educate yourself to how you can better yourself. Okay, so you have the power, no matter what happens, to transform the situation and become empowered from it. Lesson or blessing, doesn't matter. You're gonna use it. There you have it, Divine Feminine. Divine Masculine, openness opens the windows of your soul. Openness opens the windows of your soul. And what were we talking about with the shadow side of the divine masculine? Using the power of romantic attraction for private agenda. But openness is your thing, divine masculine. Okay, let me read this. The mudra clears the bronchial tubes. You having breathing problems, divine masculine? And makes your breathing easier. In case of acute breathing difficulty, maintain the mudra as long as necessary. In chronic cases, perform it 4 times daily for about 5 to 10 minutes. While breathing out deeply and thoroughly, contract your abdominal wall. Imagine yourself to be sitting on top of a mountain. You enjoy the view, the space, and the pure, fresh mountain air, which you are breathing in with deep lungfuls. At the same time, you are inhaling prana, the cosmic life energy. Prana clears and heals your lungs, gives you strength, and supplies all your needs. I am open for what it is of beauty and good. I accept it with thankfulness. I am open for what is of beauty and good. I accept it with thankfulness. One more time. I am open for what is of beauty and good. I accept it with thankfulness. And the last card for the divine masculine is level-headedness. Be wise. And this is the mudra. The gesture, okay. A greeting to the inner self. The gesture of greeting activates brain activity and brings inner composure. This mudra opens the door to inner calm and thus to one's inner source of strength, healing, wisdom, and joy. Let the breathing become slow and deep. Year for year, our needs and desires change a little. See through your mind's eye your source of inner understanding as a shining apparition of light. Ask this figure whatever you wish to know. What is important to you at present and in the future? What can lighten your life? What is yours and what will bring fulfillment? And the mantra is tranquility and inner wisdom characterizes my life. Tranquility and inner wisdom characterizes my life. Last time. Tranquility and inner wisdom characterizes my life. Amen. So that is the reading for today. I thank you guys for joining me. God bless.